So, on Tuesday, the physical world sort of clamped down. I mean, only 6 ships managed to squeeze through the Strait of Hormuz. But on that exact same day, human innovation just absolutely blew the doors off.
Yeah, it's a wild contrast.
Right. There was a company debuting a walking commercial robot that had, I think it was 8,000 times more buyers than shares available. Anyway, welcome to today's deep dive into the 4 p.m. news brief from August 19, 2026.
It's honestly a wild contrast. We are looking at a world that is rapidly fracturing along like both physical and digital lines, but at the exact same time producing these massive, just world-altering technological leaps.
Exactly. And our mission today is to figure out how both of those things can somehow be true at the same time. So let's start with the physical fractures.
Yeah.
The United Arab Emirates just suspended all financial and economic ties with Iran after a ballistic missile threat to maritime traffic. And I understand that's bad diplomatically, but how does a financial suspension physically stop ships from sailing? I mean, Iran says the strait is closed, the U.S. says it's open, but the boats just aren't moving.
Well, because you can't sail a commercial ship without insurance or letters of credit. When a major financial hub like the UAE ties the banking infrastructure that clears those massive cargo transactions, it just freezes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if ship owners can't get their cargo insured against acts of war, or if buyers can't process the payments, the physical boats drop anchor. That's why you only saw 6 commodity vessels cross on Tuesday, which is down from the usual 11.
Right. It's like the global economy is a fragile game of Jenga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pulling one block like the UAE financial links threatens the stability of the whole structure.
That is exactly what it is. The pressure builds immediately, so when you choke the Strait of Hormuz, shipping routes get longer, insurance premiums spike, and that pushed Brent crude oil to a 4-week high over $91 a barrel, and we're seeing these sudden tourniquets elsewhere, too.
Right, in North America.
Yes. Over North America, President Trump delayed 50% tariffs on $20 billion of Canadian imports just 2 hours before they were scheduled to hit.
Wow, 2 hours.
Yeah. And the uncertainty alone causes massive supply chain friction.
So physical borders are closing because of national security and trade disputes and things like that. But surely the digital world, the cloud, artificial intelligence, is immune to that, right? I mean, it's just code.
You'd think so, but AI is now being treated exactly like physical territory. Washington is actually preparing an AI coalition where partner nations have to choose exclusively between American and Chinese frameworks. You basically cannot mix the two.
Wait, hold on. You say they're forcing everyone to pick a side, but the briefing mentions World Liberty Financial, which is a Trump-backed crypto company supporting a venture that actually accesses restricted Chinese AI models. How is that a hard bifurcation? It sounds like the rules only apply to some people.
That's a very fair point, and it exposes the messy reality of trying to regulate borderless tech.
Yeah.
That crypto venture highlights the loopholes private capital will exploit. However, at the infrastructural level, the wall is absolutely being built. For example, Apple is training a completely separate internal AI model just for China to meet local regulations. They're basically building 2 different brains for their devices.
Oh, wow. So imagine buying an iPhone, but the Siri you get has a fundamentally different logic and maybe even a different set of historical facts depending on which side of a border you bought it on.
Exactly. It comes down to foundational models. These are the massive AI systems trained on vast amounts of data that serve as the base for other applications.
Right.
And because data privacy laws and logic guardrails contradict each other across borders, you can't have one unified model anymore. The international tech market is literally tearing into 2 distinct spheres.
Which brings us to the paradox here. We have paralyzed shipping lanes and heavily siloed AI. Yet, amidst all this geopolitical stress, scientific innovation is just exploding.
It really is.
Let's look at biotech. Moderna shares surged 137% and Merck jumped 12%. The briefing says they successfully used an experimental mRNA therapy for melanoma in late-stage trials.
Yeah.
But wait, mRNA was what we used for the COVID vaccines, right? How does a vaccine technology cure existing cancer?
This is where the science gets incredible. A traditional vaccine prepares your body for an outside invader.
Right.
But this personalized mRNA therapy looks at a patient's specific, already existing tumor, identifies its unique genetic mutations, and then programs the patient's immune system to hunt down and destroy those specific mutated cells.
Whoa.
Yeah, they are essentially teaching your body to recognize and clear out the melanoma to prevent recurrence.
That is just mind-blowing. And capital markets are obviously aggressively rewarding that kind of practical breakthrough. I mean, we saw a similar explosion in hardware, too.
Oh, yeah, the robotics IPO.
Yeah, a Chinese company called Unitary Robotics saw its shares surge 600% on its market debut because of the massive demand for commercial robotics.
Right? Embodied AI. That is essentially taking a digital AI brain and putting it into a physical body like a commercial robot.
Okay.
The challenge there isn't just software, it's teaching that brain to deal with real-world physics like gravity and friction and balance. The fact that demand for Unitree shares exceeded supply by 8,000 times just shows how hungry the market is for robots that can actually navigate our physical spaces.
So we are curing complex diseases with programmable genetics and building walking commercial robots faster than ever before. But we are doing it in a world that is actively pulling up the drawbridges.
Our technological capabilities are vastly outpacing our geopolitical cooperation. We are generating world-saving tools, but the willingness to share the foundational data behind those tools is really disappearing.
Which brings us back to those invisible borders. I mean, if AI frameworks and cutting-edge scientific research become strictly walled off by these competing national coalitions, could your future access to life-saving AI-assisted personalized medical treatments soon depend entirely on which side of the geopolitical fence you happen to live on?